Formalism. Russian formalism is a literary theory and method of analyzing literature that emerged in Russia in the early 20th century. It emphasizes the formal aspects of literary texts, such as language, structure, and style, rather than their content or social context. Historical background. Russian formalism emerged in the early 20th century in Russia, a time when the country was going through significant political and social changes. The theory was a response to the dominant literary criticism of the time, which focused on the moral and social aspects of literature. Formalism versus realism. Russian formalism rejected the traditional literary criticism, which focused on the content of literary works, and instead emphasized the formal aspects of literature, such as language, structure, and style. This approach was in direct opposition to the dominant literary movement of the time, realism, which sought to depict life as it was. The object of literary study. Russian formalism considered the literary work itself as the object of study, rather than the author, the reader, or the historical and social context in which it was written. The goal was to isolate the specific elements of a literary work that made it unique and analyze their effect on the reader. Defamiliarization. One of the key concepts in Russian formalism is defamiliarization, which refers to the use of language and techniques that make the familiar seem unfamiliar. This is achieved through the use of literary devices such as metaphor, simile, and irony, which disrupt the reader's expectations and force them to view the text in a new way. Plot and narrative. Russian formalism also emphasized the importance of plot and narrative structure in literary analysis. The formalists believed that the plot was not just a series of events, but a carefully constructed sequence that created meaning and effect. The role of the reader. Russian formalism also emphasized the role of the reader in literary analysis. The formalists believed that the reader's response to a text was just as important as the text itself and that the reader's interpretation of the text was shaped by the formal elements of the work. Legacy. Although Russian formalism was short-lived, it had a significant impact on literary theory and criticism. Its emphasis on the formal aspects of literature paved the way for structuralism and semiotics, and its focus on the reader's response to a text foreshadowed reader response theory. Russian formalism also influenced the development of new criticism in the United States. Although Russian formalism was short-lived, it had a significant impact on literary theory and criticism. Its emphasis on the formal aspects of literature paved the way for structuralism and semiotics, which focused on the underlying structures and systems of meaning in literature. Its focus on the reader's response to a text also influenced later theories of literary reception and interpretation. Finally, Russian formalism influenced the development of new criticism in the United States, which shared its emphasis on close reading and the analysis of literary form. Mikhail Bakhtin. Mikhail Bakhtin (1895–1975) was a Russian philosopher, literary critic, and theorist whose work focused on language, communication, and the relationship between the individual and society. Bakhtin's ideas were influential in a number of fields, including linguistics, literary theory, cultural studies, and philosophy. Bakhtin's work was notable for its interdisciplinary approach, drawing on a wide range of fields including literature, linguistics, sociology, and philosophy. He rejected the idea that language and communication were neutral or objective, and instead argued that they were always shaped by social and historical contexts. Bakhtin's emphasis on the social and historical nature of language and communication was influential in the development of sociolinguistics, a field that explores the relationship between language and society. Bakhtin's key ideas and findings are as follows. Dialogism. Bakhtin's concept of dialogism is his most significant contribution to literary theory. He argued that all language use is dialogic, meaning that it is shaped by the interaction between different voices or discourses. Bakhtin believed that language is never neutral and objective but is shaped by social, historical, and cultural contexts. According to Bakhtin, all texts are part of a larger cultural conversation, and literary works are shaped by the interaction between different social and historical contexts. Carnivalesque. Bakhtin's concept of the carnivalesque refers to a mode of cultural expression that subverts dominant norms and values. He believed that the carnival, with its subversive and chaotic elements, provided a space for the subversion of power relations and social norms. Bakhtin argued that the carnivalesque is an important form of cultural expression that can be used to challenge dominant power structures and open up new forms of cultural expression. Polyphony. Bakhtin's concept of polyphony refers to the way in which multiple voices or discourses are woven together in a text. He believed that texts are composed of many different voices, which can include the voices of characters, the author, the reader, and various social and historical contexts. According to Bakhtin, these voices are in constant dialogue with each other, shaping the meaning of the text in complex ways. Heteroglossia. Bakhtin's concept of heteroglossia refers to the way in which language is shaped by multiple languages, dialects, and discourses. He believed that language is always in a state of flux and is shaped by the historical and cultural context in which it is used. According to Bakhtin, language is never static or monolithic but is always shaped by multiple social and historical contexts. The individual and society. Bakhtin's work emphasized the importance of the individual's relationship to society. He believed that individuals are always in a state of tension between their own subjective experiences and the social norms and conventions that shape their lives. According to Bakhtin, the carnival provided a space for the subversion of power relations and social norms and opened up new forms of cultural expression. Bakhtin's key works include Rabelais and His World, The Dialogic Imagination, and Problems of Dostoevsky's Poetics. These works explored the themes of dialogism, the carnivalesque, and polyphony, and their implications for literary theory and cultural studies. Bakhtin's ideas have had a significant impact on a wide range of fields, and his work continues to be studied and debated by scholars today.